Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I will be reading an Arlecchino Listener by me. So let's get into it. The quiet of the evening hangs heavy in the air. The soft glow of the fireplace, casting warm shadows across the room. You sit on the edge of the couch, your book forgotten on your lap, as your eyes flick to the door for the 100th time tonight. Arlecchino had gone on a mission, a particularly dangerous one. She told you, though her voice had been steady and calm as always. She had reassured you in her usual sharp, confident way that she could handle it. But hours have passed since then, and your anxiety has been steadily growing. You've been with her long enough to know that danger follows wherever she goes. But she has always come back unscathed. Always. Tonight, though, something feels different. The air is heavier. The silence is louder, and you internally hope that it's simply the fact that you're worried that makes you feel this way. Suddenly, the front door creaks open, and your heart leaps into your throat. You stand quickly, relief flooding you for a brief moment, until you actually see her. Arlecchino steps inside, her usually pristine uniform, tattered and smeared with blood. Her posture, always so straight and commanding, is slumped. There is a deep gash across her cheek. Her left arm seems to be injured as well, although she does her best to hide it. You're at her side in an instant, your hands hovering uncertainly near her, afraid to touch her and cause her more pain. Arlecchino, oh, what happened? You're hurt. She gives you a small, wry smile, though it barely reaches her eyes. It's nothing. Don't you worry. Just a few scratches. A few scratches? You repeat, incredulous. Your heart is pounding in your chest as you look her over. You can barely stand. Why didn't you go to a healer? She shrugs, wincing slightly at the movement. Didn't have time. Not to mention, I can't show up anywhere in the state. I had to come back to you. The words make your chest tighten, both with love and frustration. Arlecchino was always so stubborn, always so unwilling to show any sign of weakness, even when she is clearly in pain. You shake your head and gently guide her toward the couch. Sit down then, you murmur, your voice softer now. Let me help you. She hesitates for a moment, clearly unused to accepting help, but after a second, she finally relents, sinking down onto the couch with a barely contained sigh. She leans back, closing her eyes briefly, as if the weight of the day is finally catching up to her. You grab the first aid kit, your hands shaking slightly as you open it. You've never seen her like this, never seen her vulnerable. It's unsettling, seeing the person you've always thought of as unbreakable, looking so human. Where does it hurt the most? You ask, your voice quieter now, laced with concern. Arlecchino opens her eyes, her gaze meeting yours. There is something softer in her expression now, something you don't often see. My arm. I think it might be dislocated, she admits after a moment, and you nod, carefully assessing the injury. You've seen her fight countless battles before, watched her take on impossible odds without hesitation. But now with her sitting here in front of you, wounded and exhausted, It feels like the weight of the world is pressing down on your chest. I'll fix it, you say, your voice as steady as you can make it. But it's going to hurt. Arlecchino gives you a small smirk, though the exhaustion in her eyes betrays her. I've handled worse. Don't worry about it. You carefully position her arm, your heart racing as you prepare to set it back into place. She does not flinch, though you see her jaw tighten as you move, and with a quick motion, you pop her arm back into its socket, and she exhales sharply, her eyes squeezing shut for a brief moment before she relaxes again. There, it's done, you say, nervous, and she opens her eyes, giving you a faint smile. See, not that bad. I knew you'd make a good medic. I am not a medic, and you need to be more careful so you don't have to be one. Arlecchino chuckles softly. Careful is not exactly in my nature. I know, you say, your voice softer now, as you gently clean the blood from her cheek. But I worry about you. She watches you in silence as you work, her gaze unwavering. There is a tenderness in her eyes that she rarely lets show, and it makes your heart ache. I'm fine. I can take care of myself. You pause, her hand stilling on her cheek. I know you can. You can let me take care of you sometimes too. Her expression softens even more than usual, and she reaches up, her fingers gently brushing yours as they rest on her cheek. You're the only one I'd let do that. And for a moment, the world seems to narrow down. Her words, the way her eyes hold yours with a vulnerability she rarely shows. You lean in, pressing a soft kiss to her forehead. I'm glad you came back. I always will. I promised you that, didn't I? You nod, pulling back slightly to look at her, your heart full. Yeah, you did. And you knew no matter how difficult it will be, she will always come back to you, no matter what happens.